We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com.
All right, let's move on to Fab F. And he has set to pick. Was trying to decide between two rooms in his basement for use as his dedicated home theater. We discussed the many disadvantages of using the larger room that has air ducts hanging down. So he'll be going with the smaller of the two room choices based on our advice.
Okay.
With smaller room dimensions, he's trying to maximize the space, of course. He's going to build an enclosure under the stairs to house the equipment rack. That's cool. There is some additional space under the stairs, so he's considering building a second, smaller compartment with an open front to house one of his subwoofers. And so is he saying side by side as you face the back of the stairs, not the side of the stairs?
Right. So like he'll be in his room. He'll be looking at his back wall. On the other side of the back wall would be the stairs going upstairs. So there's like the area under the stairs will be on the other side of the back wall of his theater.
Okay.
So he's got that little area that's under the back of the stairs. He'll put his equipment rack on the right in that space, his subwoofer on the left in that space. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Let's see. I have lost my place. Let's see where I was. Okay. The subs are an SVS PC12 Plus and a PB1000. Is it possible to do this with either sub without adversely affecting sound quality? Is one sub better than the other for this? And if it's possible, B, part B, how much clearance do the upward firing ports of the PC12 Plus need from the sides and top of the compartment?
So the easy answer here is the PB1000 would be quite easy to put into a Cubby because it is a front firing driver with a front facing port.
There you go.
It has no sound producing surfaces on its side, top, or back. So if you were to nestle your PB1000 into an enclosure under the stairs, that would be quite an easy thing to do, and I would have no concerns about doing it. So
would you need to put stuff in there? Would you need to fill it with something?
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't build it, you know, like skin tight so that you have to like wedge the thing in there. So I'd leave a little room and then just put a little bit of foam or insulation or whatever around it so that there isn't like a resonant cavity back there, because the sound waves will move back into that space that you created. But as long as you're absorbing that sound wave, it's not really going to adversely affect the sound at all. In a way, you've created a large front baffle in the form of your back wall for this subwoofer. But with the front-facing driver and the front-facing port, there's really no difficulty and no adverse effect in doing that with the PB1000. It's a different case with the PC12 and PC12 Plus. That is one of their cylinder subs. That is a down-firing driver. It fires down into a base plate, and the sound waves disperse evenly in every direction.
Sure.
So now all of a sudden you have all this sound going back into the cavity you've created. You then do have the upward firing ports. You're supposed to leave at least 3 inches of clearance for those ports is the minimum answer for that.
Okay, there's the question.
But you are dealing with just sound waves being sent, directed, propagated into this cavity. Now, again, you can line the whole cavity that you create. It will have to be a much larger cavity for this tall cylinder sub. You can line the whole thing with insulation and mitigate some of that, but you're dealing with a considerably more difficult situation than the front-firing, front-ported PB1000.
Yes.
So if you're okay with it, I would 100% say put the PB1000 back there. It's a lot easier.
Easy choice, yes.
And then if it's a matter of size, like obviously the PC12 Plus actually has a smaller footprint than the PB1000. So if it's
but it's so tall.
But it's tall. So if it's the floor space you were concerned about, you're not losing anything there because it's a smaller footprint. True. But if the height is a problem, there is nothing wrong with laying a cylinder on its side. We had Gary Yakubian in our first interview with him. I asked him that exact question, like, can you put cylinders on their sides? And he's like, yes, you absolutely can. It doesn't change the sound quality whatsoever. So if that's, if you wanted to put it below your screen, say, right, and it was going to be too tall, it was going to block your screen, lie it on its side. It's absolutely fine to do that. So,
okay, that's neat to know. Yeah. I would have thought there'd be some strange effect to that, but I guess not, as long as it's not vibrating the case of the subwoofer, the enclosure against the floor or anything, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.